Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and it's an investment show, Modern Investing on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Starr, and today's guests are Jim Eid from Int Foundation. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Hi, Sacha. Thanks for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
And of course, Dr. Milan Somberg. Welcome to the show, Milan.
Delighted to be here. I hope I can make a contribution.
Yes, I think we all need to make some kind of contributions today, because although it's Wednesday and supposedly but it's actually second week in a row that Wednesday is a negative day and decisively negative, especially today. So, what contributes to such a dismal performance? And actually, all sectors of the market, everything is red. Um, well, one can only guess. In my opinion, it's a housing start, so it was announced earlier today, and because of the interest rates are remain unchanged, a lot of people postpone their buying decisions, counting that maybe the mortgages will become more affordable later in the year, and that's now becoming a part of self-made recession, which is what Fed is doing for whatever reasons. I heard the theory that Trump offered Powell to continue his job as long as he will keep interest rate unchanged until election. Take it or leave it. It's really up to you. I don't insist it, but it's more and more looks to me that way. What else? We're all prone to conspiracy theories of all kinds
Yes.
and so on.
Oh,
Some
you know,
people,
interest rates in Canada are down today. As
yeah,
of today, interest rates in Canada are down, and many economists predict that the same will happen in the United States by the end of the year. And so, Sasha, you're talking about one day, what's happening today. How important is one day when we should be thinking long term? The market is down today, but for the year, the US market is up 19%.
Yes.
no,
The
no, 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 listen,
That's what we should be thinking about long term.
you know what, you can think anything what you want, but when you see on your screen red, that definitely affects your thinking, and maybe you've done brilliant for the last 10 years, and your next 10 years will be even better. But a particular day like today, that's what counts, and that's what we are here from. Uh,
Sasha, if you invest the way that we recommend to our members, Monday Morning Millionaire members, we have about 300 members, and we recommend that as the market drops, buy the bargains. You feel good about it because the market is dropping, and you're allowed, you can buy bargains. When the market rises, you feel good about it because you can take profits. So, in either direction, people who think long term can feel good about it if in the market they don't have the money that they will need in the next little while. And so it's the United
to buy
States.
groceries.
Yes.
The United States market has been economy rather. The United States economy, as represented by the S&P 500, has performed better than any other investment unless you cherry pick. Now, within that economy, there are some terrible situations. There are mom and pop restaurants which are struggling. There are women's clothing stores which don't last 2 years and so on. But within that economy, with those in place, mom and pop gift shops and so on, the American economy has been the best place to invest for over 100 years. If you take small town America, say a town that has a population, say, of 1,000 to about 30, 40,000, and walk up and down the main street, nobody on that main street is making money except the banks and the professional people, the lawyers and the medical doctors, engineers, dentists. Uh, but almost every shop that you see up and down Main Street, North America, is a losing proposition, and people who own them hope to make a buck when they sell. So we have to think long term, number one. Number two, invest in the American economy as a whole because it's been the best investment unless you cherry pick. for over 100 years. And it takes no effort at all. We can teach a kid, a 12-year-old, how to buy the SPY and thus invest the American economy in a matter of minutes. Takes no effort. So that's where we stand. The fact that we are doing not so well today and last week is irrelevant.
Well, I sort of agree with that, but the daily, I do take the long-term perspective, but I also look at, what's happening on a, smaller term basis and what's going on right now. I think Sasha brought up the housing starts and the interest rates. The Fed has been very, very slow to lower interest rates, and the mortgage rates have been very high. And, I can't complain where I live. In San Mateo County, the median sale of a house is over $2 million. And Santa Clara County, just below to the south of me, where San Jose is, a big AI tech center, they just passed $2 million. So, these big homes are still selling for enormous prices, but it's very hard to get started. It's very hard to buy your first home. And it's because of these mortgage interest rates are punishing. And why the Fed is holding them so high, I don't believe that it's because of Donald Trump, although I wouldn't put it past him to have asked the Fed chairman to do it. But I think that what they are doing is holding on to an old-fashioned idea, an outmoded idea. The inflation that we experienced a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, was caused by the global pandemic, the COVID pandemic. And inflation was worldwide. And the American economy has come back from it better than any other economy. The American economy is very strong. The unemployment rate has gone down. The wages have gone up. Companies are reporting record earnings. But we're seeing some things starting to slow down. And this is what the Fed has been hoping. They've been thinking the economy is overheated, which was nonsense. That was not the problem. The problem was the global pandemic. But they've been thinking of it in terms of the old-fashioned way of, treating inflation by punishing the hiring sector. So they were only going to wait to lower interest rates until they see that unemployment is creeping back up and that the wages are going down a little bit. They were waiting for bad news in the U.S. economy before they're willing to lower the interest rates. So
Jim,
the good news in the economy was bad for the Fed.
Your scenario describes self-inflicted recession.
Exactly. That's precisely what they were trying to do, is cause an artificial recession. There is no hint of a recession in the U.S. economy except what the Fed's pressure on the interest rates is applying. So it's definitely self-caused.
I was trying to look at the political angle to see what's happening today in the market, and normally, with Trump just a few days ago had his next presidency almost a done deal, and normally big business is always supporting people like Trump. Now, what's happened now that his election is, you can say, bye-bye, because there's no way that he could defeat Kamala Harris, which is endorsed everybody by left and right. And guess what's happened today? Remember somebody with the name Nikki Haley?
Yes.
Nikki Haley, who endorsed Trump just a few days ago during the convention, today she endorses Kamala Harris.
You're kidding. I didn't know that.
It's the latest news. She endorses Kamala Harris.
Well, she woke up. Someone slapped her in the face. I don't know. But it's like, thank goodness. I thought Nikki Haley was the old-fashioned Republican. I could see people voting for her for president. But obviously, it's a shock to me that anybody would support a convicted felon on 34 counts as Donald Trump, but when she endorsed him, I thought, oh my God, I misjudged Nikki Haley. And so now this is great news.
Governor of South Carolina, wasn't she, Nikki Haley? Governor of South Carolina.
I think South Carolina, yeah.
I think so.
What's interesting enough that if Trump would have any brain in his head, he would have appointed her as vice president.
Yeah.
Then he would have it in a bag, indeed.
Oh, yeah, the Vance was just doubling down on the MAGA. He didn't add any votes
He doesn't have
and-
votes. He doesn't have anything to say. He is
yeah,
a phony at
yeah,
the best. In my opinion, he's a pure fraud.
yeah.
Of course,
Who knows? What he says tomorrow will be the opposite of today. Who knows?
he
But
is a fraud.
Harris's fundraising has gone through the roof. It's mind-boggling how strong the
Yeah.
fundraising has been.
There's a very good chance that she is going to be the next president of the United
The
States.
country is excited about her now.
And so
There
now,
was no excitement about Biden and Trump. None.
yeah. Now, how will that make a difference to the economy? The Kamala Harris presidency, how would it make a difference? How would it impact the economy?
Well, the good news is, I'm sorry, Sasha, why don't you answer it?
No, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, the thing is that Trump was against free trade. You know, he runs as a Republican, but he has the opposite ideas of traditional Republicans. You know, calls people rhinos. He's the rhino. He's the Republican in name only. He's for tariffs. He's against free trade. You know, so all of these things would cripple the American economy, and the consumer would suffer. So his policy ideas are terrible policy ideas, but he doesn't really have policy so much as he puts his finger in the air and he sees what's popular today. But you know what Kamala Harris will do will do things for the economy, which is building back trust in the system, which is right now we have lost our trust in the system. We've lost our trust in the Congress. We've lost our trust in the U.S. Supreme Court, and so people are looking to do business elsewhere. But if you restore trust in the United States, then import exports can go on without this fear of crisis that Trump always carries around him, that there's a crisis right around the corner. And other leaders of other countries did not trust Donald Trump. Now they trusted Joe Biden, they trusted Obama, they will trust Kamala Harris, that the United States word is good. And so we will be doing business, international trade, and this will help the American economy and it'll help the world economy because it's a global economy now. We can't pretend it isn't. And Trump wants isolationism, which is a disaster, always has been.
Just a quick clarification, Nick, and everything. Sasha and everything along those lines. But Haley hasn't exactly come out and supported the Harris, but some of her voters have come out and supported Harris because Haley actually put out a cease and desist order because she wants the people not to use her name in that conjunction and everything. Because there's a group called Haley for Harris, which is people that are former Nikki Haley supporters and all along those lines. And now there is a cease and desist order because Haley has come out and said that they are doing misrepresented her views and all along those lines. And hopefully she could come out at a later time and actually come out for Harris, but she hasn't done that as of yet because she's put out this cease and desist order.
Well, we can't tell her voters what to do.
Mark, thank you for clarifying. Yeah. I didn't have a time really to go analyze your statement or statement of your friends and so on, but we'll see how it all develops. I think that Kamala Harris will do quite well with or without Nikki Haley endorsement, but we'll see. We'll see very shortly. Right now, the Trump's handlers, they are running out of any ideas what to do in that present situation because all their campaign was focused on Biden, how old he is, and that he's incapable. So now the same Democrats can take all their work, change the word Biden for the word Trump, and say the same thing exactly. Here is an old man who cannot govern, who cannot do anything, who is for what he is, a convicted criminal and a loser, and so on, and fraud and rapist. So, and it's a done deal. And
speeches are incoherent.
And the latest is that they are pathetically avoiding debates between Trump and Haley.
Nikki Haley would destroy him in a debate?
The Kamala Harris.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Kamala Harris. Sorry.
Nikki Haley as well. Nikki Haley as well.
Yeah.
Honest mistake.
That's right. So what they're saying is, okay, if it comes to the debate, so here is on one side you have a prosecutor, and another one you have a convicted criminal.
Yeah.
Whose chances you like more?
Yeah.
It seems to be the
The
prosecutor.
DA has been putting people like Trump away for a long time. She says she knows his type.
She knows.
Trump easily makes the worst president that the United States has ever had. Almost every president has put the interests of the country ahead of personal interests, with very few exceptions. And Trump easily makes the worst president that the United States has ever had. And I wonder if you could give me an answer for how is it that he gets so much support?
Yeah,
He's offended all the women. He's offended the blacks. He has offended people in the military. And yet, look at how much support he gets. How do you explain that?
he's a con man, and you can't fool all the people all the time, but there's some people you can fool all the time. And they've doubled down on their support for him, and they only listen to like the hate radio. Their sources of information are all skewed to pro-Trump. And so they don't listen to anything else, so they deny it. If they hear something else, they'll say it was made up. It was fake news, which is what Trump tries to describe anything that criticizes him, even factual stuff. So these people just tune in to what they want to hear. And I think it's about 1/3 of the country has bought into someone who is his charisma. Much like sometimes people get impressed by him, and so they buy into that. They don't listen to the facts. They don't listen to the policies. They don't care about that. They think I've heard people in the audience say how good looking he is. And things like what has that got to do with it? But they think that's their comments. And I've heard another person say, I don't believe in having a dictator, but if we have to have a dictator, I hope it's Donald Trump. What can you say about people who say things like that? There's just no way of defending them. But they're not as the majority of the Americans. I refuse to believe that.
In a country as large as the United States, you will have all sorts of opinions.
Of course.
And you
right.
certainly ignore many of them. Now, how will, this is a program about investing, how will investors do under Kamala Harris presidency? The market is hugely overpriced right now. We are all members of our Monday Morning Millionaire program are taking profits. Feels good.
It's
market drops. We're buying bargains. Feels good. How will we do under Kamala Harris presidency?
I think it's too early to make any bets on what's happened to the market because there is still Democratic convention is coming up, and then the election itself. Also, it's unclear how far Kamala Harris will go in her agenda, because she can just continue more or less what's going on now,
Right.
and she can do a lot of radical things. In fact, the radical things, what could really do now is Biden himself. Remember, he is still a president. Now, thanks to Supreme Court, he is immune to anything, whatever he decides to do. So if he will decide tomorrow to lock up Supreme Court, for example, it's awful, it's unconstitutional, but it will take 5 years to prove that. In the meantime, he's immune to anything, whatever the presidential order. So in the meantime, if he will lock Supreme Court and he will appoint a new 9 judges to his Supreme Court, and then he will reverse everything, immunity about Trump, and bring there's an order against Trump, which is postponed for now. I don't know until what time. So there will be no need to postpone anything and just lock him to jail. And the same judge can give him, say, 4 years easily without breaking any laws. and here we go. But that's not so good because it will help Republicans to get a new
Yeah, the only
neighbor.
thing saving from us is that Biden has integrity, which Trump lacks.
Well, speaking of
Biden, great
integrity, I
call.
do have a quick question for all of y'all since it is the investment show. And there was a gentleman that used to be saying that he was a supporter of Trump, and now he is backing down. And part of the reason that he might be backing down is because his own company is suffering and everything. But Elon Musk is pushing back on this notion that he is donating 45 million a month to the super PAC backing Trump, and he's also maybe getting a little nervous because of Tesla's lackluster earnings, even though he did say that Tesla would do good under a Trump presidency. He didn't think so the rest of the EV companies that aren't named Tesla and everything. And apparently he is pledging, he's saying that they're going to use humanoid robots next year. So he's definitely going into that whole robot thing and all along those lines. So I'm just wondering, because apparently he wants Tesla to invest $5 billion into his newest startup, XAI, if the shareholders will approve. So apparently he put himself out there as a big Trump supporter, and now he's kind of like backing down on that a little bit and saying, maybe, well, hold on, I'm not giving away that much money and everything. So what is our take on Musk as a Trump supporter, and also his notion of EVs and energy vehicles being a driver of the economy?
I don't think he's a Trump supporter. He is Elon Musk supporter, first of all.
Absolutely.
And in fact, if you think about the policies of Trump and compare it to policies of Biden and maybe Kamala Harris in the future, they are much more friendly to green energy
Yep.
than Trump. So the Elon Musk, if he would have any vision of what's better for him and his company, he would obviously support Democrats, not Trump. But his calculation is, oh, Trump is winning with my supporters, not my support. So let's go in. Trump will win. Trump will remember that I helped him, and he
He'll
will.
donate to Harris before too long, and
Yeah,
play up to her. Yeah.
that's
No,
how,
part of the reason the market is down today is that Tesla reported its earnings and they were pretty
that's true.
disappointing. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I wouldn't put too much stock in whatever Musk says. As a political or an economic fortune teller. But it is a part of the problem is that the Republican Party has long been considered to be better for finances than the Democratic Party, but the facts don't back that up. We saw the younger Bush presidency ended in a disaster that he handed over to Obama. Obama handed over a ragingly good economy to Trump, and Biden has inherited a poor economy due to the global pandemic, but has turned it around so that the economy is once again booming. Trump, under the Trump presidency, our deficit rose about 25%. And that was true under Reagan as well, the savior as far as the presidents of the Republicans are concerned. But deficit spending was how they did so much of it. And I can remember Benson from Texas saying, "I can show you a good economy too if you let me write hot checks." And that was a killer line in a debate against Dan Quayle. But the fact of the matter is that they've never done. The only president that balanced a budget in recent history is Bill Clinton, the Democrat. The Democrats have been just as good about deficit spending, or just as bad, rather, because both parties have been bad at deficit spending, not paying for the things that they spend money on, not financing it. And so they've been doing different things like the tax breaks for the rich, kind of thing that makes businessmen, Silicon Valley technicians, the high tech people that own giant companies, they're pro tax cuts. But if it doesn't trickle down, and it never has, to younger people or to people that are on the border of middle class and poverty, they don't get those breaks. So but they think that they will. It'll trickle down to them. But a 50-year study by the London School of Business has demonstrated that it never has. So we go back all the way to Milton Friedman and economists that were brilliant people, but they didn't have the data. We have the data now. The trickle-down effect doesn't work.
Well, a trickle down effect, it's so minuscule. There is one, but it's so minuscule that you can almost dismiss it. Really,
Yeah.
it's not
It's an
considered.
order of magnitude good for the top and poor for the
John,
lower.
John Kenneth Galbraith, an economist who advised many presidents of Canadian origin, he said trickle-down effect is if you put enough oats through a horse, enough will pass through the horse for the sparrows to have something to eat.
Beautiful.
That's a
Now, about artificial intelligence, speaking from healthcare uh, position, artificial intelligence, it, diagnosis and treatment planning, diagnosis is wrong half the time. And I used to run courses for dentists teaching implant placement. And I used to tell them that artificial intelligence can make correct diagnosis and everything else can be done by trained monkeys. Maybe an excessive thing to say trained monkeys, but technicians. Technicians can carry out everything in healthcare, the surgical part, they can carry out everything, but the artificial intelligence will help with diagnosis, which has been wrong historically more than half the time. Artificial intelligence will correct that. So now we're gone from hunting and gathering to agriculture to the Industrial Revolution, and that's now being followed by innovation, which we in North America are good at. Let the Chinese manufacture. Actually, the Chinese are exporting their manufacturing as well to Vietnam and Serbia and places like that. But innovation is the place for us to be, and that's where we are tending to.
Another country that's good at innovation happens to be Ukraine. So we have to wonder about forces that can not be restrained and not take care of or abide by international rules, because these things can be stolen, and they have been stolen in the international market. So hopefully we will have peace going forward. Some of the problems with the business world right now is what's going on in Israel and Gaza, and the transportation through the Red Sea has been stifled. So you have to go, distribution of goods has to take a longer route around, and it's more expensive. So these types of things have real impact on expenses, on the consumer expenses when you go to the store. And what we have seen, and it has not come down, is because of the inflation, which was around 9% 2 or 3 years ago. It's down around 3% now. It's really manageable now. But that increased prices, so we had sticker shock when we went to the grocery store. And what's going to help bring those prices back down is competition. And if the Fed gets out of the way and allows startups to compete, that they have to borrow money to start up these companies. But competition is the solution. And we want fair competition. We don't want monopolies.
And specialization as well. You know that the most important thing that happened in 1776 was not the birth of the United States, but it was Adam Smith's publication, The Wealth of Nations, in which he talked about specialization. There's somebody who just manufactures a head of a pin, another one who sharpens the pin, another one who puts the end of the specialization. So we have that. And so we're headed in that direction. We have a lot of that, a lot of specialization, and a lot of innovation. As you say, Ukraine is good at it as well as North America is. And so we're headed in the right direction. In the long run, we will do well.
Yeah. What do you think Adam Smith would comment on Trump's tariffs economy?
Yes.
That's all what it is. It's a tariffs economy. He's going to put 50% tariffs. If it doesn't work, 100% tariffs. If that one doesn't work, 150%.
Never works. Yeah.
It never works. I mean, if Trump would know a little bit about the economy, or his advisors would explain it to him, he would never even talk about it, because this is absolutely what kills economy, nothing else.
Well, I read that they only got to the fourth, and we're trying to tell Trump what the Bill of Rights was. They only got to the fourth one when he got too distracted and couldn't handle anymore. So, his ability to concentrate is not good. So I don't, his advisors are probably telling him only what he wants to hear, because he won't listen to anything else.
You heard me say before that Trump's library burned down. but they were able to save both books.
Yes.
Art of the Deal and another one also.
Yeah.
Well, interesting enough, when Trump was asked about his association with the Project 2025,
Oh, there you go.
he,
Another
he
brilliant.
didn't. He didn't lie. He said that I never heard about it, never seen it, because there are 900 pages. Do you really
Yeah.
Not
expect
reading
Trump
900
to read
pages.
900 pages book?
He's
So
not going to read that, Sasha. Hey,
No.
Milan, I just had a question for you. Was one of those two books an upside down Bible?
Oh.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, I doubt it, Mark. I think he was given that. I don't think it was his.
yeah,
But the idea that any Republican government right now, we are experiencing the extreme right taking over the Republican Party. Now, the old moderate Republicans were fine; their policies made sense. There is nothing that was going to ruin the country based on any uh, right center Republican. And there were people like John McCain who were true patriots, and those are the types of people that they used to run. But now they've lost their way. They're so far right, and people are just not making any sense financially, as well as policy wise. They're beyond making sense, and they're just playing on fear, people's fear, and fear is a very powerful motivator. So they will get a factor, they will get a sector that will support them. But I think if they lose a couple more elections, and it's going to dawn on them that they can't keep losing, and so they're going to have to change the mega way. It started with the Tea Party, was very far right, and they kind of beat that back. But then with Trump and the MAGA nonsense, it's taken over the party now. So you really can't have a Republican House. The Republican House has been terrible. You can't have a Republican Senate. You can't have a Republican presidency right now. It's a disaster for the country. And there's no doubt to my mind that Trump would declare, a military emergency on the border, and then all the rules and all the laws we pass get thrown out because we're under military rule.
Empires have 100% failure rate. The 19th century belonged to Great Britain. The 18th century belonged to France. The 17th century belonged to the Netherlands. The previous century belonged to Spain. The previous century belonged to Portugal. The present century belongs to the United States. Empires have 100% failure rate. Are we looking at the failure of the American empire?
All democracies are precious. All democracies are fragile. And the people think it can't happen here, it can. And that's why you have to go out and vote. There's no way that if people vote, that Trump gets 50% of the vote. There's no way. He might get 33%, maybe stretch it to 40. But if people vote, but if people are in despair and they don't think it matters who they vote for, then Trump has a chance. So use your power to vote and throw those bums out. They're not doing the country any good. And then when the Republicans go back to the way they were, where they're responsible, moderate, center-right Republicans, vote them back in.
Could it be that people don't vote because they're happy with the way things are? For instance, in the former Yugoslavia, where I come from, in Russia today, if you don't vote, you go to jail. The voter turnout is over 99%.
And you know who you're voting for.
The ones who don't make it are so sick they can't get out of bed. So do people not vote because they're basically okay with the way things are?
No, I think they think that it doesn't matter. We've
Yeah.
given up. We don't think that it matters what we vote for, who's in charge. They're all the same. I hear that over and over again.
But maybe this year will be different.
I hope.
And I'm going to tell you that it will take just this election for Democrats to win, and it will spell the end of Trumpism. However, if Trump will win, that will be at the same time the last election of the United States. There will be no more election. This is the scariest part of it, and this is why he must be stopped at all
He'd be a dictator for life, wouldn't he?
Hey, and it
Absolutely.
will empower the National Guard to go out and say, "Do you have your papers?" Because if not, I'm throwing you out of the country.
And don't forget, he's immune. So
Yeah.
he can, in fact, he can do. Earlier on the program today, I think it was Kim who said that he can jail somebody if he doesn't like his political views. Jail? What about killing him at once?
Right.
That's it. He's immune. He says, "Yeah, I killed him because I didn't like him. That's it. Bye bye."
Yeah, you gave him Putin's powers.
Gave Putin's battle, but there is some good news. Both Sasha, Jim, and Milan, you were asking about the views of the people and all along those lines. And I did see earlier today that a number of the Gen Z, which we know are the younger people, are now feeling energized. And some people are saying that they're almost as energized as they were under the whole Obama presidency. So a number of them that were the sit on the hand gang, as I like to call them, that didn't want to go out and vote and everything, are now feeling like with Kamala's presidency and presidential campaign that they are motivated to vote, because there was a number of things that I saw where they were wanting to get out there and vote where they might not have been interested in any of the older candidates, be that Trump or Biden, but now they are energized by this young lady and everything, young by the standards of the other candidates, because she's a little bit younger than me. She's in her late 50s and all in that space, but she is young compared to the late 70s, which is Trump.
She's a vibrant presence. Yes, so she's got energy, and that's such an important factor. Because the country deserved better than Biden and Trump too. It was just
But, but listen, you just compare the personality. Who is Kamala Harris? Who are her parents? They're highly educated and qualified professionals. Her mother was endocrinologist, completed her education in United States, and her father was a professor, also completed his studies in the United States. Now she has Harvard degree, and of course her life achievements of being general prosecutor for 6 years in California. You know what is California? California is twice the size economy of Russia. So, so what is being general prosecutor? Take two Russias, and she's one general prosecutor for two Russias. That's what she is. That's her accomplishment, and she is competing against this peace creature with the name Trump, who can't read anything at all. He never read anything in his life. And this J.D. Vance, by the way, they already talk that now they regret to appoint him as vice president. Now they want to replace him, but I'm not even sure that there is a mechanism how to replace him. But okay, they'll find it. Maybe maybe there will be another rally where J.D. Vance will be a target of some kind. But I think they will do much better off if Trump will be a target again, but this time successful one. Because other than that, I really don't see what else
No, I don't ever want violence, but I do want.
No, I don't want it either. No, yeah. I don't want it either. But I'm just trying to figure out what they can really do to not even to win election, but at least not to lose it, pens down. And I just don't
they figured out in 2022, which is supposed to be a red wave, that all these Trump endorsed candidates lost.
All of
them. They figured out, hey, we can't keep losing. We're going to lose. We were supposed to sweep the House, and we have a tiny little majority. We can't keep going down this road. So they're going to run better candidates. That's got to be the answer, not further right candidates. Because people like DeSantis from Florida, whatever his attributes were, he tried to out-MAGA Trump, and people didn't like it. So, you're going to do this. So you're going to have to walk your own walk and not double down on the MAGA nonsense, because that's going to lose her in the long run. And I think most Republicans know that.
One of the things that nobody has mentioned today, and we should give Biden credit for that, his stepping down was a noble act.
It was patriotic in the extreme.
Yeah.
I've heard just before our show today, very maybe controversial, but very interesting, and in my opinion, theory that probably took place. This was a giant spectacle of assuring Trump that Biden is, and Biden was screaming and yelling that he's not going to go out and he's going to be there. And Trump was eating from the spoon. Biden, oh my God, what a beauty! I'm going to destroy him and so on. And J.D. Vance here and all these clowns during this convention. Actually, I was in Montreal and I was watching that convention. It was in the evening when I had free time, and I was watching that. Oh my God! It was. I mean, I must admit, well-produced show, but it was a well-produced show of freaks and absolute idiots like what's his name, the wrestler Hogan. Oh my God! Look at who is endorsing Kamala Harris today. All the top entertainer figures, singers, and intellectuals, and so on. And who is endorsing Trump? Hogan.
Oh my goodness, the Hulk. It's
Look,
bad. But
that's
we
bad.
want to go back to like question Milan asked about, what is this going to mean for the economy? And when we go through uncertainty, the markets don't like it, and I think it's going to become more clear as time goes on that Trump is going to lose. And so, what is that going to have an effect on the market? Well, again, there's a popular myth that the Republicans are better for the markets than the Democrats
No.
are. It's never been true, and it's not true now. And the market is going to react to the interest rates. If the Fed does lower them, the market's going to like that. If
By the
companies,
way, a very important thing. During our program, market is trying to recover a little
ah,
bit.
Oh,
So
you're
it's
watching
not
it that
always
closely.
bad.
yeah,
You're watching it that closely. I say think long term instead of by the minute.
But the long term starts with the short term. You cannot win long term if you're losing in the short term. Come
yeah.
on.
And it's going to be the numbers that the companies report for their earnings. It's going to be revenues. And do we think that the revenues are going to drop? Now, one of the things I want to say, because I've been a big AI advocate, is that the tech sector, I want to report this because I don't think this is generally understood. Concentrating on AI is good in some ways, but also bad in others. And
Sure.
there's a smaller workforce that's needed for AI than there is for the older tech
That's
industry.
right.
Yeah.
So that's going to result in layoffs, and we've already seen that. So it's not affecting people's ability to buy the big homes out here, but it is affecting the families that can live and work in this
Oh,
area.
Milan, about long term versus short term. I have a friend of mine who I don't know how he's trading now, but a few years ago, let's see, he goes and he was watching some kind of stock, whatever he wanted to buy. And whenever he thought during the day that it's kind of in a lower point, then it was in the morning, so it's probably a good time to buy. So he's buying that stock. And I ask him, what you do next? Well, if it will go up 50 cents, I sell it and I make my profit. And I say, and if it's not going higher or even going lower, well, then I'm becoming long-term investor.
Hey, Sasha, a quick question for you about Kamala, because one of the things that people are saying in terms of the Republican side of the House and everything is they're going to attack her, saying that she should have that she knew about his decline cognitively well before he decided to step down, and that therefore she is to be at fault as well. So I just wondered, will
Well,
that stick, and do you think that will stick? Because that is one of their latest attacking points. Because they wanted her to use, I believe it's the 25th Amendment, and declare herself president. And then they also have brought up this notion that she knew in advance about his cognitive decline, and therefore she is at fault because she did not do enough to warn the country. And all along
Wait,
those,
wait a sec. What kind of series? Is she a doctor? Is she capable of doing analysis of his health condition? Who is she? She's not a doctor. He has his own doctors, and as his wife, she should have known about his abilities more than anybody else. So it's she who is guilty about what's happened to Biden. But again, what I started to tell you, and I haven't finished, that obviously before his debates, his horrible performance against Trump, what's happened? He was driven all days, 3 days before the
He
debates.
was traveling
He
a lot.
was driven from one place to another. Even healthy young person, not
Yeah,
having
I can't do that.
again, yeah, I was doing something. I was sick for 2 days after driving from Montreal to Mont Blanc, and then going back to the same day. We spent there a couple of hours, 3 hours maybe, at lunch, and then I wanted to go actually to one of the newest casino near Ottawa. It's a beautiful place. I saw it from the highway, but I already didn't feel that well, so I decided
Yeah, yeah.
I was a casino, and I
Don't
drove.
go to the casinos not feeling well, right?
Well, in Mont Blanc, actually, I played in a casino, but
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't have a lot of time. I played for 15 minutes, won $300, and just left. And
No, but imagine if she had pushed the 25th Amendment. What would the backlash have been then?
Yeah.
Oh, she's power hungry. Oh, yeah. So there's no winning when
Exactly.
somebody's going to
I
find
think
whatever you do that's wrong.
all that transaction became so smooth, and look at the timing. So he performed very poorly by all means. And I think maybe he even did it on purpose, because I never seen, even he's not 100% healthy or so, but to
Oh,
say,
State of the Union was great.
to open his mouth and look at the Trump so helplessly and so on, even if he didn't feel well, I don't think that's how he would have done. But anyway, that happened. So then there started some voices that maybe he should quit. Then he says, "I will never quit. I will fight to the end. I will win this," or so on.
I
So
think he believed that.
that's wonderful, wonderful. And right before a day or two before convention, all Trump's people were saying, "Joe, don't quit. Joe, stay. Joe, don't make a mistake," and so on. No, I'm going to stay. I'm going to do this and that. So finally, convention. J.D. Vance is vice president now, and there's a horrible speech on the last day of convention that Donald Trump had.
Oh, yes. That was
The
awesome.
voice, the worst.
Biden stepping down kind of neutered their favorite chant and everything. Because if I remember correctly, and I did watch maybe more of the Republican convention than I needed to watch, but wasn't one of their favorite chants "Joe must go" when Joe has gone? So they kind of neutered their whole chant and everything.
It was amazing. The timing was fantastic.
The timing was great. So here is the convention is over. Now Biden says, Kamala Harris is my nominee. She's going to do it. And all endorsement, the hundreds of millions of dollars.
Comes rolling in. Yeah.
And now, a couple of days later, the Republican Party got out of any options what to do. They see their ship is sinking, and sinking very fast. Now it's becoming even, I feel, not even unpopular. It's a really very bad taste. If you say that you would have want Republicans, people will stay away from you by the mile.
People stay away from the Republicans, but even Mr. Trump, a former president, has a bad habit of putting his foot in his mouth and all along those lines. Because the latest thing I heard, and I know Jim will love this one, because there was even those kind of fact-checking people that are doing it and everything, he was an attempt on his life, that assassination attempt. And one of the latest things that I think he said in one of his speeches is that part of his ear was blown off and mysteriously it regrew and everything.
It's growing back. Yes, I love it. Does that tell you that the guy has lost his mind or not?
Is he an alien or something? Because that's the only people I know that have their ears grow back and everything is aliens.
And he thinks it did. So, we know that the guy has lost it. Whatever he had, it's gone.
Here's something interesting. During the pandemic, the countries that best managed the pandemic were New Zealand, Taiwan, Finland. I've forgotten which other two were, but they were all headed by women. maybe a presidency headed by a woman would do better.
With time. And the other thing people forget is that all of that money that was raised by the Biden-Harris ticket, nobody else can access that except for Harris. So that's a tremendous amount of money going in, not only counting all the new money that's coming in. So people say, oh, she's got only 105 days. No, man, the election is just starting because people start paying attention the closer it gets. People weren't paying attention except for the people that are political junkies. Now when more people who are likely to vote are starting to pay more and more attention, her star is rising. And she has far more money than Trump does, than the Republicans do. And so she's going to be able to dominate the airwaves in a way that Trump cannot counter. And, all the big donors that he relies on, they're getting a little bit back, stepping back a little bit. They're not throwing the money at him.
Let me ask you a question for you. I think that all the big donors who are donating to one party are also donating to the other party.
There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
They spread their wealth because they want friends on both sides of the aisle.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And what I'd like to say is that seems to me that the market likes our program because it's recovering.
Okay.
Good to hear that.
Not fully, but it's getting there. And the message, Kamala Harris, how to defeat Donald Trump, is very simple. Convicted criminal, loser, lost House and Senate and presidency, impeached twice, rapist. What more does she need?
And there will be a national ban on abortion if Trump is elected. So this is one of the things that Kamala has to really pound. There will be a national ban on abortion if Donald Trump is elected. That's
number one.
I know you're winding up. I was just going to mention, because we like to plug other shows as well, that in about 10 minutes after your show ends, speaking of one of the issues we've been talking about, Dr. Pappas will be on the air, and I think Nick might be doing that show with him, but it is medicine and science, and I think today's topic is COVID and how COVID is doing in this modern day and all along those lines. So that'll be coming your way at 2 o'clock. So I just want to give them a plug before you get ready to wrap up and all along those.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, we are about to wrap up. I think we had a very interesting program.
Stay invested in the U.S. market.
Yes, absolutely. Totally agree.
Long term.
And, I would like to thank you so much for this program and have a successful trading during the week. And in your case, Milan, it's investing rather than trading, of course. So, and I'm pretty sure you will be a long-term investor, but not like my friend.
Buy low and sell high.
That's right. So see you same place, same time. All the best to you both.
Thank you, Sasha.
All the
Thanks
best.
for having us.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.